Well, hello everyone, my name is Zwiggojr and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be continuing the how fast can I beat Pokemon Heartgold with all of the legendaries and mythicals in that game. While last time we did a Raikou, this time we will be doing Suicune. Suicune is the Aurora Pokemon and it's more of a defensive kind of Pokemon, not really the attacking type, but its special attack is pretty decent at a base 90 and both of its defenses are at 115, so it's gonna take hits very well. And it's also going to be able to outspeed a lot of stuff because of its 85 base speed. Suicune also has a lot of coverage moves, just like Raikou. It will get Shadow Ball, it also gets Blizzard, Surf, and Rain Dance to set up for Surf to do even more damage. I remember from being a kid that there was a movie where Suicune was starring in, I think it was called Pokemon Forever, with Celebi. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite Pokemon movie is, if you've ever watched one. Mine is probably Jirachi Wishmaker with like the fake Groudon, if any of y'all remember that movie. The rules for this run are going to be easy. I can only use Suicune in battle, and I'm allowed to use a Gem Pokemon, and no items in battle allowed. With that out of the way, don't forget to leave a like. Let's try to shoot for 3,500 likes for Suicune. And also don't forget to subscribe because we're so close to 150,000 subs. And let's just jump right into Pokemon Heartgold with the fastest Suicune you've ever seen. We start off the game by naming ourselves Norman, the most normal name ever. Shout out to all the Normans out there. We waste no time and head to the lab immediately and pick our Suicune, and our rival is going to have Chikorita. We then decide to give it a nickname and I decided on Sweet Cow. I think that's just going to be our thing here. We're just going to put cow after every single Pokemon name. We head on over to the next town where we get greeted by an old man with a lot of fast running shoes in his collection, and he decides to give one to us. So we move on to Professor Pokemon's house to pick up the mystery egg and the Pokedex, and as we try to go back to the lab, we meet up with our rival. But since this is the first battle and he is clearly outmatched, which means that we're easily able to bite his Chikorita to death. I wonder what Chikorita tastes like though. I think it might taste like a potato, but let me know in the comments down below what you think Chikorita tastes like. After the battle, we steal his trainer card to see his name, we go back to the lab, and the police is there to interrogate us, so we give him his name, and it's Milkman. I do prefer chocolate milk, though, to be completely honest with you. Also, I do eat my cereal without milk. Yes, I am indeed a monster. We can then finally move on with our Pokemon journey, so we head on over to the Sprout Tower. On the top, we beat up the bald monk. He gives us the TM for Flash, which means that we can now move on to Falkner, the first gym leader. And we are able to reach him at a time of 33 minutes, which is around the same time as Raikou. Just like with Raikou, Sweet Cow is easily able to sweep through both of his Pokemon, one-shotting Pidgey and two-shotting Pidgeotto with bubble beams. We get our first gym badge and the TM for Roost, which we will never use because we're not a bird. As we step outside, we see one of the kimono girls, and this one apparently loves eggs. After that unusual encounter, we go to Kurt to make some more balls. But he doesn't have time to talk about balls because Team Rocket is taking over his town, so we have to go and save the Slowpoke. But Proton is so weak that we can easily Bubble Beam his Zubat and Coughing to save all the Slowpoke and eat all of the Slowpoke tail that we want. After saying goodbye to Kurt and his broken back, we go to Buxy. And we can reach her at a time of only 50 minutes, so that's pretty decent. She starts off with her Scyther, who lost the U-turn away, so after hitting him with a Bubble Beam, it's already gone. As she switches into Metapod, which we can take out with 3 Bubble Beams because she decided to use a Super Potion on it. We also level up and learn the move Rain Dance, which will come in handy in certain battles. Then Cider comes back out and this thing almost takes down my Suicune, but because I am able to lower its speed with my Bubble Beams, I'm eventually able to outspeed and kill it with one last Bubble Beam before it takes me out. So she sends in our last Pokemon, Kakuna, which we take down with a Bubble Beam, and that's Buxy defeated. Since we now have 2 gym badges, we can almost move on to Goldenrod City, but first there is another rival fight. Mr. Milkman comes along with a team of 3 Pokemon. While 2 of them are very easy to take down, one of them is a huge pain in the ass, which is Bayleaf. Again, this is the same problem as with Raikou because it does have Poison Powder and Reflect, and if it sets up a Reflect, it's hard for me to hit it because my only viable move here is really Bite. Besides that, if it gets into low health, it also likes to use Synthesis to get all of that HP back. And if that wasn't enough, it also has Razor Leaf, which loves to crit me and is super effective on Suicune as well, which does, of course, a lot of damage. So after getting destroyed a couple of times, I eventually got all of the luck that I needed to take down this Bayleaf without having to level up even more. So we start off the battle, Ghastly versus Suicune, but the Ghastly goes down with a single bite. Next up is Bayleaf, so I just leer it 5 times. The reason why I was able to hit it 5 times with a leer is because it missed 3 poison powders in a row, and with that my bite now does enough damage in order to 2-shot it, which means that we can move on to the final Pokemon, Zubat. And the Zubat goes down to Bite and Bubble Beam, which means that we can now move on to capturing some Farfetch'd, because this man is incapable of doing it himself, which does mean that we get the HM for cut. So with that, I make my way to Goldenrod City, go to the department store straight away and pick up the TM for Blizzard, which I learned to Suicune and I replace Leer. We then go to the radio tower to do the quiz to get ourselves a radio card. In the process, we also impress this gym leader so much that she actually leaves and goes back to her gym. So boys, all you have to do to impress a girl is just win a quiz. We then go to Sid's gym, which we reach at a time of 1 hour and 12 minutes, and you know that this is the Miltank gym. So Whitney's name should actually be the Milkman, or the Milk Woman in this case. Anyway, as we jump into the battle, we can already see that Miltank isn't going to give us an easy time. Her stomps do about 1/4 of my health, and they can also flinch me. Besides that, Miltank also has milk drink, so if it gets low in the HP department, it's like I'ma sip some milk and get that HP back. It also does have the ability Thick Fat, so if I use Blizzard, it's going to do a fraction of what it normally does. This fight was nothing compared to the Bayleaf fight from before, so let's just get into the winning run. She starts off with her Clefairy, and I go for Blizzard, get the critical hit, and take it out in a single shot. Then Miltank comes out, and this time I'm able to Blizzard twice, then I get flinched by a Stomp, and then the third Blizzard is actually enough to take it down. So if I just spam Blizzard from the start, I probably would have won this way easier. But I thought because of Thick Fat that Bubble Beam would do more damage, but apparently that wasn't the case. After the battle, she starts crying, so we have to wait for her to calm down. She then gives us the gym badge, and we move on to the next town. While I'm on my way there, I bully a tree by spraying it with water. And this girl apparently likes that. After this rather unusual encounter, we go to the burnt tower, where we find our boy Milkman once again. Just like last time, he starts off with his Ghastly, which I bite to death. Next up is Bayleaf, and this time it's no problem whatsoever because we have our newly acquired move Blizzard, which means that we can 2-shot her. We do get poisoned by a poison powder, but that doesn't really matter because the next Pokemon is Magnemite. And since 30 only works in Generation 5, we can still 1-shot it with a Bubble Beam. Last up is Zubat, and Zubat gets taken down by a Blizzard as well. After that, we kind of had a weird encounter at the bottom of the burnt tower. Just look at this footage. After the doggies jumped away, we went to the next gym, which is led by Morty and his ghost types. Insert another Rick and Morty joke here. And Morty starts off with one of his thrusty Ghastlies, which we bite, and it's dead. Next up is Gengar, who puts me to sleep with a Hypnosis, then hits me with a Shadow Ball, but I'm able to snap out of my sleep, go for the Blizzard, and freeze him. So I hit one more Blizzard after that and take him down with a bite without him being able to move at all. Next up is Haunter, but that thing is able to survive a bite. He then misses his attack and uses a potion, and I take him down with 2 more Bubble Beams as his last Pokemon comes out, which is another Haunter. And this guy goes down with a couple of bites as well, and with that we get the 4th gym badge and the TM for Shadow Ball, which I will learn to my Suicune right now as well for the next gym. We then go to the top of the lighthouse to try and fix it, and I forgot to go to the dancing club, so we have to go there, beat up a Team Rocket Grunt, and get the HM for Surf, which I also learned to Suicune because it's just going to be a very nice stab move. Go to Cyanwood to grab the secret potion, and after that we go to Chuck E. Cheese. I mean, just take a look at Chuck himself. He does seem like he's eating a little bit too much of Chuck E. Cheese, right? Well, Chuck's first Pokemon is of course a Primeape, and after I hit it with a Surf, it decides to switch into Poliwrath to block that Surf the second time because it has Water Absorb. This is also why I needed Shadow Ball on Suicune to take down this Poliwrath in particular. And this was by far the easiest thing that has ever happened to me. I just kept on using Shadow Balls until he got back into low health, and eventually he did heal up. But the reason why I was able to hit so many Shadow Balls is because he kept going for Focus Punch and never attacked me. So I could just wreak havoc with Shadow Ball until Poliwrath went down, Primeape came back out, I went for the Surf and finished Chuck E. Cheese off. We get our gym badge and go back to the lighthouse to talk to Jasmine so that we can give the secret potion to her. We heal up Ampharos, and now it's time for us to take on the 6th gym leader already at a time of 2 hours and 12 minutes. I did have a little bit of a problem with her Magnemites because they would keep on paralyzing me with Thunder Wave and then killing me with Thunderbolt after that, and I didn't really have a workaround to this, so I just kept on attempting the battle until the Magnemite did not use Thunder Wave, because I decided to set up a rain dance and then I could just wreak havoc on her team with surfing both of her Magnemites and finally Steelix, which we can also one-shot with Surf. I then try to head on with my journey, and then this hiker bumps into me and he gives us DHM for strength. I wish that happened in real life, if someone would just bump into me and be like, hey, here's 20 bucks. But this shenanigans only happens in Pokemon. I then head on over to the Lake of Rage, where I find a red looking Gyarados, so I thought that my game was glitched, so I ran away. While I was leaving the Lake of Rage, I also ran into Lance, and he was like, Team Rocket, there's a secret hideout here in Mahogany Town, so we have to take it down. But this was of course rather easily. We make our way to the final boss battle in like 10 minutes, and together with Lance's Dragonite we destroy Ariana and the Rocket Grunt in a double battle. We then blow up all the electrodes to cut off the power source, and Lance thanks us by giving us the HM for Whirlpool. After that we move on to our 7th gym battle against Price, the Ice-type gym leader. And since we are Water type, we do resist most of his moves, and we have Shadow Ball to hit neutral on his Pokemon, so this should not be a problem at all, as he starts off with a Seal. So I just spam Shadow Ball until it gets into red health. He then uses Rest, and I Shadow Ball a couple more times to take out Seal. Next up is Piloswine. I'm able to hit a Surf, but it doesn't quite take it out and hits us with a Mud Bomb. So one more and that takes Piloswine down. Last up is Dewgong, and that thing goes down the same way as Seal by spamming Shadow Ball. The Dewgong was able to do a lot of damage though because it had Rest and Sleep Talk, but in the end I did come out victorious, and I also beat up Price and got my 7th gym badge. And we also get the TM for Hail, which could be good for Blizzard, but I don't really want the chip damage on my Suicune every turn, so I would rather keep Rain Dance right now. So we then head back to Goldenrod City because we got a call from Professor Elm. We go down to the sewers and get ourselves a Team Rocket outfit. With that, we infiltrate the radio tower like a spy and beat up the man that is dressing up as the radio director to force him into giving us the basement key. So that's exactly where we go next, the basement. But before we can save the radio director, we have to fight Milkman again. It's been a while. That doesn't really mean that we're going to have a problem though. He starts off with Golbat and I lead off with Suicune. I start off by missing a Blizzard and I get hit with an Air Cutter. I then hit a Blizzard, but the Golbat hangs on and hits me with another Air Cutter. Then I hit a Shadow Ball to finally take down Golbat. Next up is Meganium, so I go for 2 Blizzards to take that thing out, while it did set up a Reflect, but that doesn't matter because we only use special moves. The next 2 Pokemon are Magnemite and Haunter, which both go down to Surfs, and last up is Sneasel, which takes 2 Surfs to go down. Which I do find kinda weird because Sneasel looks so frail, but it always manages to tank a special move somehow. So with Milkman out of the way, we can go ahead and save the radio director. He gives us the key card to get to the top of the radio tower, where we find Archer, the head of Team Rocket at the moment. We go into the battle paralyzed because Ariana paralyzed us with a stun spore from her Vileplume, and I didn't have a paralyze heal with me. But that doesn't really matter though, because we can literally one-shot his entire team with Surf, and they can barely touch us because we're too bulky. So that's Handar, Houndoom, and Coughing out of the way. We save Johto from Team Rocket, and we get the Silver Wing from the Radio Director. With that, we can head on to the final town of Johto to take on the final gym leader, Claire, and her dragon types at a time of 3 hours and 44 minutes. She starts off with her Gyarados, so I go for the Shadow Ball, which does about half of its health. I then go for the Blizzard to ensure the kill because we also got a special defense drop. Our Suicune did get hit by a Dragon Rage, which was annoying, but next up is Dragonair, which we also one-shot with a Blizzard. Then another Dragonair comes down, which we also take out with Blizzard, and finally is Kingdra, which we take down the same way as we took down Gyarados with a Shadow Ball and a Blizzard as well. Since we defeated Claire, she's supposed to give us the gym badge, but she's an ass and she's not gonna give it to us. So I have to go to the den to talk to all of these old people that give me a quiz. We easily complete the quiz like always because we're a quiz master, Claire comes in and finally admits that she was wrong and gives us the gym badge. Now we can move on to the Pokemon League, right? No, there is one thing that we actually still have to do, and that is fight all of the Kimono girls and get in with some business with Lugia. And the Kimono girls are of course a gauntlet battle, which is kind of annoying, but I managed to win this with only 10 HP remaining on Suicune. So we then move on to the Whirl Islands, where we see some dancing and some bells ringing, and that wakes up Lugia from his slumber and he comes out of a waterfall, even though he is not a water type, which I still don't really understand. He should be water flying, but he is psychic flying. I don't understand where the psychic typing comes from. Let me know in the comments down below if you know why he is psychic. The Lugia fight itself was easy. I just blizzarded it and then just went with some shadow balls to finish it off, because on the Zwiggojr channel we never capture the legendary Pokemon. We always waste our Master Balls on something like a Goldeen. So now before we head on over to the Elite Four in the Pokemon League, we have to take on our rival one last time down at Victory Road. Milkman starts off with his Sneasel, which we can now one-shot with Surf since we're 10 levels above it by this point. Next on up is Meganium, which we one-shot with a Blizzard. The Magneton also gets one-shot by a Surf, then Kadabra comes out, which gets killed by a Shadow Ball. Haunter also gets wrecked by Shadow Ball, and finally is Golbat, which does not survive a Blizzard. So this was just a one-shot sweep battle, rip Milkman. With Milkman out of the way, we head on over to the first Elite Four member, Will. Will's first Pokemon is a Xatu and manages to hang on from a Shadow Ball and confuse me with Confuse Ray. Luckily he heals up and another Shadow Ball is able to get him down because of a high roll. Next up is Jinx, and I get hit in my confusion and it also hits me with a Psychic. Luckily 2 Shadow Balls later and the Jinx is dead. Next up is Exeggutor, so I go for the Blizzard but I miss and he goes for the Psychic, doing a decent amount of damage, but I hang on and one more Blizzard takes down Exeggutor. Next up is Slowbro, so I go for another Shadow Ball, get a critical hit and that is enough to take it out, and finally is another Xatu and one more Shadow Ball finishes off Will. Now with Will out of the way, it's time for the next Elite for Murkoga with his poison types. And his first Pokemon is an Ariados, which we take down with a Surf. Next up is Fortress, and I decide to set up a Rain Dance on turn 1. I do get hit with a Swift, but Fortress really isn't that strong. I then try to go for the Surf, but he goes for Protect, and the turn after I do one-shot it with Surf. The next Pokemon is Muk, so I go for a Surf once again, but it doesn't quite take him down, and he misses his move. So he heals up with a full Restore, I go for another Surf, get a critical hit, and the Muk is out of here. Second to last is Crobat, but that thing goes down to a Blizzard, although it did set up a double team, so I was lucky to hit it first turn. Venomoth is last, and it manages to survive a Surf, so he heals up, and I go for the Shadow Ball and then take him down with another Surf to win the second Elite Four member battle. Time to head on to the third one, Bruno. Bruno's first Pokemon is Hitmontop, so I go for the Rain Dance to do some more damage with Surf. I then go for the Surf, but it doesn't even take out Hitmontop. He then heals him up with a full Restore, I go for the Shadow Ball and another Surf to finally take it down. Next on out is Hitmonchan, so I go for another Surf, which doesn't quite take it out once again, and he goes for the Thunder Punch, doing okay damage but nothing major, so one more Surf and Hitmonchan is down. Next up is Hitmonlee, so I hit another Surf, but it barely does anything. It hits me to a high jump kick, which leaves me with 65 HP, so I go for one more Surf to take down Hitmonlee as well. Now he sends out Machamp, which is very scary because he hits me with a Cross Chop because my Surf does not do enough damage. Luckily, I am left with 8 HP and my Surf takes him down next turn, and then his last Pokemon is Onix. I know I can one-shot this thing with Surf, and with that we have already defeated Bruno. Now after Bruno, it's time for Karen, the Manager Talker, and her dark types, which do quite fit her because Karens are such dark beings. So Karen starts off with her Umbreon, so I set up a Rain Dance and hit 2 Surfs to take it down, but I did get hit with 2 Feint attacks as well. Next on the list is Vileplume, so that's a single Blizzard to take it down. Gengar goes down to a single Surf, but he did use a Spite which got rid of all of my Blizzard PP. Houndoom is a little bit faster than my Suicune and is able to hit a Dark Pulse, but I'm left with more than enough HP to take it down with Surf. And last up is Murkrow, which does go down to a Surf as well. We don't even need Blizzard for it. Now it's time for us to move on to the champion, Lance. the Dragon Master. Since I did have an Ether with me, I was able to replenish the PP for Blizzard and take on Lance that way. So we get into the fight immediately as he does start off with his Gyarados. So what I do is I hit it with 2 Shadow Balls as he hits me with 2 Waterfalls. Then I do finish him off with a Blizzard, just to ensure the kill. The next 2 Pokemon he sends out are his 2 majorly underleveled Dragonites, which we take down with Blizzards, since that is 4 times super effective on both of them. Then he sends out his Aerodactyl, which is faster than my Suicune and is able to hit a Thunder Fang, but it doesn't even do that much damage, so his Surf takes it down too. He then sends in his last Dragonite, which we take down with Blizzard, and then finally is Charizard, which we also take down with a Surf. And with that, we have defeated Pokemon Heartgold with Suicune, but how fast did we actually do it? Was it faster than Raikou? Let's find out. We managed to defeat this game in a total time of 4 hours and 54 minutes, which is way faster than Raikou. So Suicune right now is our #1 spot. This was almost an hour faster than Raikou, so I think I might have to redo that Raikou run in my free time to see if I can get a better time. But in general, I really do think that Suicune had an easier time than Raikou. I barely had to reset on any battles, and Raikou had a lot more difficulties getting through fights than Suicune has because of its bulk. But let me know in the comments down below which Pokemon I should do next. And with that out of the way, I of course want to thank my membership and Patreon supporters as always. Thank you all so much for helping me out in these difficult times. If you want to do so yourself, you can click the link in the description. Everything is down there. And with that out of the way, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. I'm Zwiggojr, and I'll see you guys next time.